Lushkin, you want to come up here? Hi, everyone. Happy November. Happy Witches New Year. November 1st is Pagan New Year, which resonates with me being a witch. Oh, my beautiful assistant Marissa is here, standing by if I need her. And I'm going to see if I can navigate. And I have Sage with me tonight. Because tonight's theme is pretty intense. We're going to go into some stuff that has always weighed very heavy on my heart, and I think it's appropriate now and then to address. Sorry, I'm getting over a little bit of a head cold. So I'm sorry if I cough a little bit. Let's see if I can find my own darn live stream here. Oh yeah, there we go. I was like, am I going to be able to even find my own live stream? I'm telling you, this is not easy. It's bloody terrifying, actually. That's why it's nice when you start that you don't really have anybody following you, because you have privacy to practice. I keep telling Marissa, at this time next year, after doing 12 of these, I think I'll have a system down where, because if you try to script it, I mean, I have a whole bunch of kind of stuff I printed out, but I can't memorize all of it. So, you know, how does that work, you know? So you kind of have bullet points. And that's what the beauty of live is, that you're kind of just chit-chatting and hanging out. But it's still something that I think will get easier with time. Right, Alushka? My boy's here. He wants to jump up. You can, if you can find some room, you could jump up. Okay, 8 minutes. 8 minutes, Lushkin. Eight minutes until the official live starts. Let's see. Oh, there you are. Hi, Marissa. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you. This is kind of fun. Someday it would be nice to have some more folks in the chat. I'd love to pull some cards for people. If you have a question, I could pull a tarot card, or if you have any burning questions you've always wanted to ask a sex worker, I'm your girl. Been doing this 26 years. So that would be really fun. I have a lot of goals that let's see, how is the sound, Marissa? Do you think my lavalier's working? Does it sound okay? The scene looks pretty good. There's definitely a delay when you're watching yourself on your iPad. It's like a little delayed. Okay, great. Awesome. I feel like I do need to work on practicing like the flow and everything a little bit more. Let me just cough right now so I get it out. I made some tea. I made some peppermint tea. I've been drinking a lot of tea this last week. Of course, y'all know me. Tea with some spiked with some honey, lemon, and whiskey. Actually, I have a bottle of Jameson right here because one of the themes of tonight is addiction. So this is my addiction. My dear Rita brought this over on Sunday. She had it kind of around, and Jameson is a wonderful whiskey. I love Jameson. So she's like, I don't think this is gonna get drunken, so I'll just bring it over. So maybe I'll pour a little. Actually, why not? I'll go ahead and pour a little shot on this November full frost moon. If I was up north where the snow is falling, tea and whiskey would be really, really nice. I think it was 87 today here in Phoenix. It's not very cold, but it is November and it is the frost moon. So you kind of have to go with the seasons in the pagan wheel of the year, because it's a Celtic tradition. It's ancient Celtic, historical, spiritual tradition, and they're up north, and it was very cold. So the winter months are all about winter themes. And even when you live in the desert, you have to acknowledge that time of year and what it means in terms of being introspective, acknowledging some of those harder, darker, subconscious type of things. So, what time is it? 5:58. Cheers, my dears. If there's a cup of tea or a cocktail that you'd like to go and get for tonight's live stream healing circle, now's the time. Go and get something that you enjoy. Sage is here to comfort me. This is my little, I got this in on a beautiful island north of Victoria. I'm actually forgetting the name of this island. I went to a wedding. Some friends of mine got married like 5 years ago, and they had an outdoor market, and this gal was making these little cute stuffed animals. So I chose sage, and one of the reasons I chose sage is because sage does not stand up. Some of the monsters, she calls them monsters, some of them are like formed so that they can sit up, but sage cannot sit up unless you lean sage up against something. And so for me that was perfect, because she just symbolizes like that wobbly state where you're unsure and you're trying to gain ground and you're trying to master your demons. And I always feel like sage. This is always how I feel. That's always how I feel. Like I don't have any foundation. I'm just in the wind. I'm in the wind. But I'm good at it. I'm good at being that way. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's November, and this is the frost supermoon. It's again a supermoon this month, so it's very bright. It's going to be beautiful outside. Make sure you at least run out and take a look at tonight's supermoon later when it's dark outside. So the theme this month is about secrets, transparency, vulnerability, and addictions. So let's light some sage. Because we are banishing secrecy and illusions, the times that we feel deceived, like when someone makes a promise and you believe them and then you find out that what they said they were going to do, they're not doing. It's a terrible feeling. It's really disappointing and it's heartbreaking. Because words are magic. Words are spells that we cast. So when we speak lies, we're doing black magic. Sometimes we speak words that we mean in the moment and then we just can't follow through. But when you are staying grounded in casting honest spells with your words, you come clean and you remain honest And that's really hard to do sometimes because we don't want to disappoint people. We don't want to hurt people's feelings. So we tell lies. So let's banish illusion and deception and black magic. Cheers to honesty, y'all. Tonight we're going to be pulling a tarot card, and if anyone has a question, start thinking about it. I would love to pull a card for you. We'll mist ourselves with a little bit of beautiful Protective Mist by Kate's Magic in Tucson. Love this Protective Mist. It's got, is it all it has? It's got quite a bit in it. Clove, lemon, cinnamon, eucalyptus, rosemary, cassia, and white sage. It's lovely. Okay, let's take a couple of deep breaths and do some shoulder rolls. Facing truth sometimes is the hardest thing to do. It takes all of your strength to face truth. When you find out something that you didn't want to find out, and everything just feels like destroyed. So we're going to talk about Hagalaz. Hagalaz, the Norse rune for November, symbolizing hail, the hailstorm, crisis, destruction, and radical change. Hagalaz. I brought my potato masher as a symbol of Hagalaz, the destroyer, clearing the path for truth and clarity. Truth destroys everything. The hailstorm, a sudden change that clears stagnation and reveals what's essential. The raw, clean bones of truth. Disruption, destruction, and awakening that follows. Okay, let's do some neck rolls. And we will begin our blessing, our full November 2025 frost moon blessing. May the November frost moon reveal what is true, not the gaslit stories we believe to feel safe, but the sharp clarity that melts illusion and exposes deception. May Hagalaz, the frost rune of awakening, shatter what has grown rigid and false, so that only the clean bones of truth remain. May we have the courage to face what is revealed in ourselves and others, and to make the changes that belong to us, rather than trying to reshape another's path. As the frost moon burns bright above us, may we stand unguarded and unashamed, reborn through honesty and rooted in what is real. Truth is a storm, not a comfort. It breaks so we can rebuild. Blessed be the breaking, and blessed be what endures. So I printed this this image out also. This is the Tower in tarot. Let's read the Tower. Again, this is my current favorite tarot deck, the Wild Unknown Tarot Guidebook by Kim Krans, with a K, Krans. It's all animals, and it's a very loving, beautiful deck. The Tower, unexpected upheaval. When the Tower card appears, it's time to brace yourself for a change. The well-rooted tree that's been growing strong for decades is crashing down around you. Your world may feel as though it's literally falling apart, and you didn't see it coming. Even though this phase is painful and confusing, it will be over soon. You'll look back and feel grateful things changed course. You might even see it as a personal breakthrough in the end. The Tower. So let's talk about November. The harvest is over. All of the root veggies are down in the root cellar. The chipmunks and squirrels are scurrying around, gathering their nuts for hibernation. And this is the last time to plant spring bulbs so that they can rest under the snow and germinate for springtime. Like the Easter lily, or Ostara, as we say in the pagan wheel of the year. This is an Easter lily. That's what we are going for in this time of the Tower and destruction and hail and raw truth and sadness and grief and deep introspection. We know that the springtime will come and the lilies will bloom and the grass will be green and the flowers will bloom and things will get better. But it's November and we're going into the winter. Even though here in Arizona, we really don't have much of a winter. That's why we live here. This is our time. The fiery, blazing summer is over, and now we get to relax and enjoy 8 months of gorgeous, moderate temperate weather. But that doesn't mean that we don't also have our time of destruction and truth, and times when everything just feels like everything's falling apart, and we feel betrayed and we feel hurt, and we maybe do something that we just are disappointed in ourselves about. And so I pulled the Two of Pentacles for our evening. So let's read the Two of Pentacles. Pentacles in tarot are the physical world, money, projects that you're working on. They symbolize earth. The Two of Pentacles, balance and change. The Two of Pentacles signifies inevitable change, since the pentacle suit relates to earthly possessions. This usually means a new job or a financial situation or a move. Even if you fear this change, it needs to happen and might even be fun. Face it with the grace of a newly formed butterfly, a world of possibilities balanced upon your delicate wings. The Two of Pentacles. That's appropriate for me. I'm trying to generate some new energy in my world of finance and money making. Thank you. Marissa says, can you pull a card for me later, please? What is blocking me from succeeding on my personal goals? Feeling a little stuck and spinning my wheels lately. Okay. We will do that. Have a little tea. Yeah, change is hard, especially when you're Really, are we going to have a car alarm? Especially when you're trying to reimagine your financial world and recreate something brand new. It's scary and it's hard, and it definitely takes time. Okay, let me look here. So, I guess what I wanted to talk about is the crux of my work as being a sex worker. Through the 26 years I've been doing this, it's something that weighs very heavy on my heart. The fact that there are a number of clients, a certain percentage, not all by any means, who are using their time with me to escape the agreements that they've made and find a secret place, a secret hiding place where they can fulfill unmet needs, desires that they might be addicted to, comfort in the storm. Often in relationships, things get hairy, and it can be easy to just find that escape. And it's complicated. It's very complicated, and I have never felt like it's my place to judge because I don't know the situation that they're in. I know that there are times when it's obvious that the person that I'm with is a total player and is, doesn't have a conscience. And I mean, there are those people, and if you're with one of those, God help you. My nieces are 19 and 21, and my biggest fear is that they end up jumping on here, and I mean, I'm posting all over social media about this, so they're gonna find out that I'm coming out and talking about my work, which I never did before, primarily because of them, because they were kids and I didn't want them to be in that position, and my little brother would have killed me. So now they're adults, and I think they're old enough to be able to handle the truth about me. And it's terrifying. And of course, they're beautiful and young, and I pray that they find a good one. We, as women, we know what that means. Did you find a good one? Did you get a good one? That means did you get one that's going to be faithful, that's going to treat you with love and tenderness and respect and honor that marital agreement of monogamy. My little brother, I think, is one of the good ones. They're very lucky to have the parents they have. And I want them to find someone just as wonderful as my brother, and I really hope they do. And it's scary when you have kids, because it's not just men that betray marriage, it's women too. We just, as women, we don't have to pay for it. That's for sure. So, it's not a gendered thing, but I don't condone rampant cheating. I never have, and I'm honest about that with my clients all the time. And a ring doesn't mean anything to me. I feel like if you're serious with someone and you're not married, but you've promised monogamy, you don't have to be married to have promised monogamy. So there's no way for me in my position to know who's doing what and why. There's a lot of spoken and unspoken agreements within marriage too that kind of like, just, I don't want to deal with it, go get your needs met. There's no way for me to know. I've heard so many stories from my clients over the past 26 years that they're often in all kinds of really messed up situations. And women have a tendency to think that because they don't want intimacy or sex, that their husband should just follow suit. And it doesn't work like that. That's not fair. However, I would never say to a woman that you should do something you don't want to do. And so what happens is you have a complicated mess. And we all have the ideal in our mind, and we all want the ideal. I was asking ChatGPT, time for a little whiskey. I was trying to go into agent mode on ChatGPT and create an agent that could interview me. And I couldn't get her to quite understand. She kept asking me well, how do you when you're giving touch and intimacy to all of your clients, how do you make sure that your partner feels special? And I said, well, but I don't have a partner. It's not about me. I'm single. And when you're single, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. You can do whatever the heck you want. So, if you want to do whatever you want, be single, right? But, well, that's easier said than done when everyone wants to have children and a partner and someone at home when they need comfort. So, there's this like, well, I want this, but I want this. And then, well, maybe I could have both and just keep this a secret, which works until it doesn't work. Yeah. When I was in relationships, I never cheated on any boyfriend I ever had. I would never do that. I have actually a really strong personal integrity about that particular thing, which is ironic, and it doesn't make sense that I would feel comfortable being in this industry for this long. But that is the reality. I don't feel responsible for the decisions that are being made by other people coming to see me. I drive around and just the other day I was like, dang, there's a donut shop on every corner. I mean, there really is. There's a lot of donut shops and waffle houses, and people are killing themselves with sugar, but we don't blame the donut shop. So I just don't think that's fair, and I have refused to shoulder that burden of responsibility. However, that does not mean that it hasn't weighed heavy on my heart all of these years and isn't the crux. I mean, the crux of what I do for a living. I would love my job if not for two things. One being that a certain number of my clients are cheating on someone and lying, and that person would be very hurt if they found out. And number two, that I'm not given any respect for the healing work that I do from society, because sex workers are thought of as, people that engage in this infidelity, even though we're not, because a lot of our clients are not in relationships. They're single, and painfully so. I saw a guy this summer. I drove up and saw him. I don't usually do, especially house out calls, because you don't know who's in the house. I'm not just going to go to someone's house. But we talked a few times, and I felt comfortable with who he was, and I drove up to North Scottsdale to his house. He's in a wheelchair. He's paralyzed on one half of his body. He's an older guy, and he's determined to live alone, even though I was like, you should not be living alone. I mean, he has help that comes in, but he had all these poles, to be able to get himself in and out of bed, and in the bathroom and in the shower. And I mean, his day of getting up and just getting out of bed and getting clothes on and making food. I mean, and he was a widow. And he needed a little bit of TLC, That man, if anyone would think that that man was doing something wrong, I'm sorry, but you have no compassion then. I just would love to go, like, at it, on like an Oprah stage or something. Like, I just would have plenty to say. So, moving on to honesty and the word impeccable. So, I thought I would discuss the 4 agreements. I'm sure y'all know about this book. It's pretty awesome. Don Miguel Ruiz. I probably am not pronouncing that very well. A Toltec wisdom book, the 4 agreements. The first of which is be impeccable with your word. The 3 other agreements really, as he says in the introduction, are really just further developments of the first one. The first one is the most important one. The second agreement, don't take anything personally, is also about words. The third agreement, don't make any assumptions. And the fourth agreement being always do your very best, all have to do with the magic of words. And promises are words. Why your word? He says, your word is the power that you have to create. Your word is the gift that comes directly from God. The Gospel of John in the Bible, speaking of creation, says, in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word is God. Through the Word you express your creative power. It is through the Word that you manifest everything. The Word is not just a sound or a written symbol. The Word is a force. It is the power you have to express and communicate, to think, and thereby to create the events in your life. You can speak. What other animal on the planet can speak? The word is the most powerful tool you have as a human. It is a tool of magic. But like a sword with 2 edges, your word can create the most beautiful dream, or your word can destroy everything around you. One edge is the misuse of the word, which creates a living hell. The other edge is the impeccability of the word, which will only create beauty, love, and heaven on earth. Depending on how it is used, the word can set you free, or it can enslave you even more than you know. All the magic you possess is based on your word. Your word is pure magic, and the misuse of your word is black magic. So what does impeccable mean? Impeccable means without sin. And the greatest sin, as he explains in the book, is the sin of lying, because it's a sin against yourself. He also talks about how impeccability isn't about perfection. It's about alignment and honesty with yourself and doing your very best. Speaking truthfully without violating your own sacred boundaries. And integrity as the meeting point between privacy and transparency. Because we all need private spaces. Why do people sneak away and gamble or go through the McDonald's drive-thru when they're not supposed to? We all need that escape. We all need like certain moments where nobody knows what we're doing. Only we know what we're doing. And that's powerful. That's a powerful pull, and it's very human. I wanted to quote a Sioux chief. His name was Oglala. He said, "There is a road in the hearts of all of us, hidden and seldom traveled, which leads to an unknown secret place. Luther Standing Bear." So one of the things that draws us to secret places, especially ones that we're not supposed to go to, is the excitement, the adrenaline rush of, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna do this thing, even though I'm not supposed to. It's a rush, and that can lead to an addictive relationship with that thing. Speaking of, you know, you say to someone, I'm not going to drink today. I'm not going to drink this week. I'm going to go 7 days without drinking. And then, you know, you're in your kitchen and no one's looking. And you're like, oh, no one's going to know. No one's going to know if I just pour one shot. That's why I try to be pretty, like, open about the fact that alcohol is my greatest addiction. And I struggle with it. You know, I constantly want to have a relationship with alcohol that is healthy. And I know it's possible. People do it. It's possible. You can have a drink, you know, without being an alcoholic or without overdoing it. And that's the reality that I want. I don't want to give it up, but I lean on it way too heavily because it creates that warm glow where everything, like the edges, just like kind of melt away. And you're like, I don't care. I just saw it's like climbing into a warm, cozy blanket. For me, anyway, that's how it feels. So, on that note, I found this book about 6 years ago when I decided I really wanted to quit drinking for my 50th birthday, which I did. I quit drinking for 6 months. I was so proud, and I really was like, I'm just never going to drink again. It's been like 4 months, 5 months. I even took a trip to see a friend in Florida who's a big drinker like me, and I didn't drink. We went out to a beautiful dinner, seafood on the water, and I ordered sparkling water in a wine glass with some lemon, and I was so proud of myself because I went on that trip and I didn't drink. And this book helped me a lot. This book is called This Naked Mind, and it's by Annie Grace. That's the name I named my little girl. I had 2 babies. I got them when they were tiny kittens, and that was exactly the time that I wanted to quit drinking for my 50th. I adopted these 2 tiny little 1-week-old kittens, and I named my girl Annie Grace. And I had to give her up a few months ago, which is kind of a long story. She has a new home. I still have my boy, but it was very heartbreaking for me. It still is very heartbreaking for me. But I thought I would read this little bit from this book. The drinker or the drink. First you take a drink, then the drink takes a drink, then the drink takes you. F. Scott Fitzgerald. A dangerous delight, the nectar of death. Alan Carr, an author and addiction expert best known for helping smokers overcome nicotine addiction, uses a perfect analogy for how addiction works. The pitcher plant. This analogy is powerful both in making sense of addiction in your conscious mind and in reconditioning your unconscious mind. Have you ever heard of the pitcher plant? It's deadly. A meat-eating plant native to India, Madagascar, and Australia. Imagine you are walking by a Krispy Kreme donut shop and you smell the donuts frying. It's hard to resist the smell of donuts. A pitcher plant is like a Krispy Kreme for insects. You are an unsuspecting bumblebee flying through the woods, and suddenly you fly through blissfully perfumed air. It makes your little bee tummy start to rumble and you want a taste. You fly closer to the plant. It looks like a delicious treat of fresh nectar. It smells great. To get a taste, you must fly inside the rim. You land in the nectar and you start to drink. But you don't notice the gradual slope under your feet. You are now caught up in the moment, enjoying the treat. You begin to slide down into the plant without realizing it. You only notice the intoxicating nectar. Then you begin to sense the slight slide, gravity conspiring against you, but you have wings. You are confident that you can fly out of the plant at any moment. You need just a few more sips. The nectar is good, so why not enjoy it? You have wings. You think, as most drinkers do, that you are in control, that you can leave the plant at any time. Eventually, the slope becomes very steep, and the daylight seems farther away as darkness closes in around you. You stop drinking just enough to see dead, floating bodies of other bees and insects all around you. You realize that you are not enjoying the drink. You are drinking the juices of other dead and dissolving insects. You are the drink. Just like you are your word. And when you start lying and gaslighting people, you are the lie. And it works until it doesn't. And it's addictive to just go around telling lies because everybody's happy. You can say whatever you need to say to make each person feel comfortable. And that's a sin against yourself because eventually it'll catch up with you. And you're cheating yourself of that beautiful feeling of being honest and standing up for what you want. If you want something bad enough that you have to go have it, why not be transparent about it then and deal with the repercussions? Maybe those repercussions are being single. Okay. What else did I want to cover? Oh, skincare tip. Skincare tip. This is moringa oil. It's just oil. There's a lot of oils in the world. Moringa is lovely. It smells so delicious. This is by Blue Lotus. It has a little bit of a scent. It doesn't say on the bottle what it is, but so one of the best things you can do for your skin is to be honest. Because when you are lying, you're going to be stressed out. Eventually you will. Or when you're bitter because somebody's betraying you and you're not being honest with yourself that that's for you to fix. You can't change somebody else. You have to decide what action to take for yourself instead of just being angry and bitter. That's also a form of honesty. And when you walk with integrity and honesty, you're not going to get as many wrinkles because you're not going to be all angry and bitter and stressed out. So there you go. Closing reflection. Discuss the balance between the need for private secret space and the courage to live transparently. Did we do that? Privacy allows for healing and integration. Transparency allows connection and integrity. So we are not meant to expose everything, nor to hide forever. The truth is learning when to reveal and when to rest. Invite viewers to comment one word that describes what this moon means to them. Yes, what does November Hagalaz? What does Hagalaz mean to you right now? What truth are you resisting facing? And how can you move into November and begin to allow yourself to destroy deception and illusion and be impeccable? Do not sin against yourself by lying to yourself about what is real. That's your reflection this month. Marissa. Let me just check the chat. Oh, there's somebody else here. Do you ever have a mutually satisfying appointment and get additional benefit from that? These are the kind of questions I'm hoping people get on and ask. You know, that reminds me actually of my client yesterday. Hold on, I have to stretch my legs. I had a client yesterday who had some questions for me along those lines, but they were more about how he could find that situation. And he might have been trying to kind of subtly ask me if I would possibly be interested in a mutually satisfying experience with him. I don't know. He framed it more like, so he's divorced. He was very Mormon growing up. He married a very Mormon woman. They had 2 kids, and they're now divorced. And he's terrified of trying to get back into like a committed relationship because he felt so uncomfortable with the lack of sex, the lack of intimacy in his marriage, and he doesn't want to ever be in that situation again. And I hear this from so many men that have already been married, they already have their kids, they really don't want to be married again, but they want to have sex. Of course, men like sex. Ladies, if you don't know, now you know. It's very important to men. Much more important, I think, than it is to most of us, although not all. Everyone's different. But so his question was like, well, how do I find someone who's just, he's like, I've done so much work on myself to get out of this Mormon shame, and I've accepted that sex is healthy and my desire for sexual pleasure is healthy. There's nothing wrong with it, which I agree. So how do I find these women? Where are the women that want to enjoy and have sex? And of course, my response was, as always, I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry, but women don't generally want casual sex as much as men do. And he said, but I don't want casual sex. If we go to dinner once in a while, if we, have a drink, if we're, caring and friendly, that's fine. And I just laughed. That's casual sex though. It's maybe not a one night stand, but it ain't a relationship. It ain't marriage. I don't know. That's a gray area. But, I suggested the things that I can suggest, go to certain types of bars. I don't know, where do you find women that, because they exist. There are women that are out there that are really just, they want someone, they want intimacy, but anyways, okay, back to the point. Let me read the question again. Do you ever have a mutually satisfying appointment and get additional benefit from it? I am assuming that what this person is asking is about sex, because well, not all, but a lot of my appointments are mutually satisfying because I get a lot of pleasure from giving pleasure. That's what I do for a living. So it's very satisfying for me to give pleasure. So there's that. Yes, I have mutually satisfying sessions all the time. I love making people feel good. I'm extremely skilled at what I do. I work with my hands only, so it's not doesn't compromise me, in my opinion, sexually. I give massage, and because I massage parts of the body that we think of in certain ways, they're still just parts of the body though. They're just parts of the body. So I just don't get it. I really don't get why that's so wrong. But yeah, no, men just don't get it. Men don't understand why we don't want sex the way they want sex. I should get that book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. I read it a long time ago, but I should get it again and maybe I'll read from it because it's brilliant. We are on different planets completely, because when I talk to my clients and they say stuff, I'm like, what did you just say? I'm just constantly as a woman, where you're on a different planet, because they are, and that's the problem. And we're supposed to be together. It's like a joke. It's like a sick joke, honestly. But indeed, it works sometimes. Sometimes it works, and thank God we do have those people that we can look at, in really happy relationships, that are, you really believe that they are, nobody's cheating, nobody's lying, they're really happy. It happens, so thank God. But it's almost like the odds of that, I don't know, there's so many things stacked against that happening. But yeah, no, I would never want to have sex with my clients because I'm not a casual sex person. I never was. Like that wouldn't be satisfying for me. I always wanted sex within, like I told him, I'm like, because he kept kind of asking, like, I was like, look, I never had sex with people unless I was living with them. Pretty much, well, that's not always true, but I mean, I did a little bit of exploring. It was just always kind of painful though. Like I wanted to be with somebody like this. Like you wake up in each other's arms, you have coffee, you make breakfast, you talk about your day, what you're going to do. You're together. That's what women want. Dudes, that's what women want. Yeah, there's exceptions, but okay. So, enough on that. Let's do a card pull for Marissa. Yes. Stagnation. You know, this is the time of year where if there's any time of year to be stagnant and do inner work like journaling, really, really writing down like your perfect work day. Exactly. What are you doing? You wake up, who are you working for? What are you doing? What type of projects are you making for people? That's the work to do now. I wish I could shuffle like the cool way. And these cards are not the best for... I love these cards, but certain decks are so much easier to shuffle. These are really bad. The Father of Wands. So wands are fire. Fire energy. Me being a Leo, I'm fire. And we have a snake with a lightning bolt. Oh, I turned right to it. Father of Wands, charismatic and creative. The Father of Wands is a man of mystique and charisma. Others are drawn to him naturally, and he welcomes them with an open and loving heart. Usually you'll find him involved in the healing arts, as he's deeply compassionate and in tune with life and nature. He is able to hold steady and still during conflict. Well, that could be your need to kind of channel that energy. You know, we all have a mother and a father in us, and wands are creativity. So the Father of Wands would be, and in other decks, that's where it would go more. It would be like the king. The father is the king in most tarot decks, the king, meaning the ultimate manifestation of that thing in a very tangible, like provider way. I would say you need to start getting out there a little more. Like on social media, which I can help you with, as you know. Or maybe let's get a little clarity. Why is the Father of Wands coming up for Marissa? Could be a person. Wow. Okay, there's something, because now we've got the Emperor. So the Emperor is a major arcana card, the Emperor and the Empress. So there's some father, patriarchal energy, patriarch in the good sense. I'm always bitching about patriarchy, but the provider, the person who's taking care of everything. Protection, stability, the father. The Emperor is the father. He's the tarot's perfect counterpart to the Empress. He represents the side of you that's protective, decisive, and truly stable. He brings clarity of mind, and this in turn leads to actions or decisions. Sometimes this card is literal and points to a paternal relationship. At other times, it suggests reconnecting with the part of you that stands strong and tall and knows just what to do. With help from the sun, the Emperor can see for miles and miles. So I'm thinking through this winter, you need to truly come out of everything, which you and I both know. Halloween Samhain was that year anniversary, and you have a wound, definitely, with the male counterpart and the provider, and maybe you still are working on some healing around this. And that's okay. That's okay. But I would say do some journaling around your vision of what you really want. If your question is about work, and maybe some deeper journaling around whatever's coming up for you when you look at these cards and when you hear the meaning of them. And it's interesting that these cards came up tonight when we're talking about fidelity and honesty and integrity and wanting that partner that walks in integrity and would never, betray trust. It's just interesting. So thank you, and thank you for whoever you are that asked that question. I really appreciate everybody, and I look forward to December's full moon. Am I forgetting something? I should definitely write down the opening and closing rituals. I love you. Thanks, guys. Because I'm using my phone. Oh, and cheers, by the way. Cheers. I'll have to crawl over there to end the live stream. I love you guys. See you next month.